So first of all, we're going to use the breath to be in the present moment, okay? Because there's no past breaths or future breaths. So every time we take a breath, there's only one breath we can take, and that's the breath of this moment. And we're going to use the breath to feel the body and to use our emotions to bring us into inspiration instead of fear. We're going to do this by focusing on the physical sensations within our body. Okay, so we're going to start with breathing at the nose, to the third eye, down to the throat, to the heart center, to the solar plexus, and below the navel. And ideally that's on a slow inhale. And then we exhale back around the spine, up the spine, to the top of the head, and then back down through the nose. So it's like
it's going right through the genital area.
It loops at the pelvic floor. As we go down, we're going below the navel, and then it creates a circle on the pelvic floor. So it's like tracing through the genitals, the anus, and then going up the spine, the sacrum up the spine, and then back through the nose. So it's the torso, the bottom of the torso, and then through the top of the head. Okay. Now, if anywhere along that channel you have some pain, that's okay, you notice it, and then just follow the breath and maybe emphasize the places that you're feeling okay at, and go to those places first. Because ultimately, this may help. The pain is energy that's locked up. So there's energy there. Anytime there's pain, it means there's energy in that place. And that energy wants to go to other places that are empty of it. So it's just about distribution. So those places that aren't in any pain, one or two of those places might be actually like a valley that wants to fill up with the energy that's being held in the mountain. And that's where the pain is. Okay? But if we get too mental about this and we try to direct it, it loses its power usually. So you can keep that in your, put that in your subconscious more, that the energy and the pain will go to the places in your body that require that energy. So we free the energy of the blocked place by breathing past it and through it, and then the energy goes, now it's freed up, and it goes to parts of the body that are longing for that energy, wherever they may be. And we may never really know where that empty or where those empty areas are. We're conscious of that full place, for sure, because that's where the pain is. You might think that you need it somewhere else, just because of what you know about yourself. But there's all these other dynamics that are going on in our life that we're not really aware of. Most of our life is subconscious. So we just let the body, mind, psyche send that freed up pain energy to go wherever it needs to go.
Yeah, I am starting to, see that at certain points when things are releasing, when I'm allowing it enough, that there's like a memory that's associated with it and a feeling as well. But I don't know if my mind's just doing that because I've now convinced it.
Yeah, that's fine. You can notice it and then just let it go. Like, oh, that's interesting. And then just stay in the physical sensations of the body. Okay? Okay. So how do you feel about that circle now? I mean, do you feel like you can, I want to say visualize it, but you don't want to actually spend a lot of time visualizing it. Just maybe every once in a while, especially if a thought comes, you might go to that circle just to get you out of the story.
Actually, I'm really taken to it because after doing frog and the and anytime, like I have such stomach issues that I keep going to frog, and trying to release that pelvic area a little bit.
Right, okay.
And I'm really noticing a difference, like my energy staying down there longer and longer. So I'm practicing during meditation.
Great.
So I'll do the same thing with the breath.
So now I want you to look at a bigger circle, and let's do this standing up. But imagine, yeah, just put your hands out like this. You won't need to do it when you're actually breathing, but I want you to feel it right now. So imagine the breath is going in just the way we said, and when it gets to this area here, it's going to go out to your palms. Okay, so just take the breath in to the throat, heart center area, and feel it going through the inside of your arms and hands. So you're going to expand it now from the central channel all the way out on both sides to the arms. So your inhale now is going to, yes, that's right, just like that. And then down the front, and not just through the center, but through the sides of the body too. Okay? And then now when you get to the bottom, you're going to go on, would still be on the inhale, you're going to go to the inside, I can't quite show you, the inside of the legs on that inhale. So it's going to go this is a much bigger circle. Yeah, and then down all the way to the inside of your legs. That's on the inhale, okay? And then on the exhale, it's going to go from your foot, like your heel, all the way up the back of the legs, through the sacrum, and through the same centers, and through the back of the arms. And then it's going to go up through the back of the head, through the top of the head, and back through the nose. So now you're encompassing the whole body scan. Okay.
Am I supposed to grab energy from the feet on the way
You
up?
don't have to grab anything. Just see that path, like your whole body is being filled up with breath on the inside of the body on the inhale, and on the outside of the body on the exhale. So the back and the outside. Front and the inside of the arms and legs on the inhale. Front and inside of the arms and legs on the inhale. And back on the exhale. The back of the legs and the back of the body. Back of the arms. Back of the neck. Top of the head. Sides of the head. And back through the nose.
My back channel's really stuck.
What you're saying is true for most people, because the back holds the past patterns. So it doesn't matter if it's stuck. Just know that that's the way the breath can move, and you can just watch it. Whatever happens at the back, you just notice it. Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
You don't have to actually follow this circle so much. You can just sort of check in with front of the body and inside, back of the body and outside of the arms, and just kind of notice what's going on through all these places. Physically, just physical sensations. And if you feel like moving a little bit through it, that's fine. You know, like just to help move the breath a little bit so you can open and close your chest or move your arms a little bit. And just naturally, just move in some way that'll help to move that breath and that circulation, that blood, to whatever part of the body that needs it. And it's not a big deal if it seems stuck somewhere. That may be exactly what you need right now. So you might need energy to just be held in a place now. So that's fine. You just accept it. That's the way it is. I feel something in my shoulder, something in my back there. So that's the way it is. And you just once again scan the front. Okay. Now, I'm noticing with your eyes, look down with your eyes while you do this, okay? This will help you to put your attention in the body. So even when you're going through the top of the head or back when you're going up through the head and back through, still look down, okay? This puts your attention into your body. And you may feel a big difference. You may be able to feel more now. Do you feel anything?
Yeah, I do definitely. I think I want out of it because it feels painful, you know?
Okay.
Not because of the breath, but just because I know there's pain trapped around in spaces.
Okay. So as you're breathing, you feel that pain?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, and where is it?
All the way pretty much up the back, up through the neck, and then the top of the head just feels a little bit dead.
So just keep on breathing. Look down. Also, down helps to bring the energy down too.
Okay.
Let's try this. When you get to the back, so we're in those places in the back here where you started feeling that pain. So look up there when you get to those places, and then look down once you bring it back through the nose, okay? Do you understand what I mean?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Okay, so you're looking down as you're going in the inside of the body all the way to the feet, and you're still looking down as the breath is going up the legs to the back. When you get to that place in the middle of your back and where your shoulders and your neck and the top of your head, at that point start looking up.
Oh yeah, that moves it actually.
Okay, that moves it. Yeah, that'll move it up and then down the front again for the inhale. So now you're going to circle it. Okay?
Oh, that's very effective.
Great. Okay, so you got to remember that one, yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's probably good for my neck too. It'll keep it moving.
Yeah. And feel free to move a little bit while you do this. You know, feel free to just like let it run a little bit, yeah. And still use your eyes, yeah. So especially on that back area where you're feeling that you need some opening. So move that area a little bit as you look up and then bring it down the front again, okay?
There's a lot of sadness wanting out all of a sudden.
Okay. And what do you mean by sadness? Like, why are you...
Well, I get a rush of wanting to cry.
Okay.
It all sits right here.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Just notice it. It's okay. So you're working with it. You're playing with it. Instead of repressing the sadness, if it needs to come out, it'll come out. If not, maybe it'll circulate and do something else. Okay? Instead of it coming out like tears and coming out of your head, if that happens, that's great. If not, maybe it'll just circle and go internal. Right? So those tears and that sadness can be a fuel. They can be energy to fuel the rest of the body. So you're giving your brain something to do, and that's following and scanning instead of being in a story. So like you feel that sadness and you could go, oh, what is that? Oh, it feels like this or it feels like that. Just no. Just let it be a physical sensation, the sensation of feeling like crying, that's great. And just continue the breathing cycle, okay?
Okay.
So how are you doing right now?
Well, it's definitely there. If I work with it, I'm sure later I'll be able to release it.
Okay.
I'm just now learning how to hold an emotion and do something at the same time. I didn't even realize that I could do that.
That's right.
So I'm not panicking near as much,
That's
especially
right.
in the workplace. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of work to allow the emotion. I usually just push it.
Right. Yeah, when it pushes, then it's being held somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you've been doing that for a long time, there's a good chance that might be one of your centers where you tend to keep it.
Right.
We can typically take more up here. If the body's stronger up here in these places, these are hard spots. So the psyche knows, well, let's just store it there because it's a tougher place. Okay? Like if you were to have that pain in your lower back or your belly, it would be excruciating.
You'll laugh. It's all stored. Right now, it's all stored especially behind the heart. It's found a nice little spot.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So just remember, that's energy that you're learning to use. With every breath you take, you're learning to use that energy. Right? And you can say that to yourself. So with every breath I take, I'm using this energy for my health and vitality. And you just continue breathing it.
Is there anything, maybe this is reaching, but is there anything I can do, like when the emotion comes up, because I'm such a trigger or a person to just sweep it, that by the time I've swept it, I'm trying to bring it back and I get into a bit of a fight with it? Like trying to create some sort of philosophy for that.
Okay.
To allow.
Again, back to the breath. All you can really be in is the present moment. So you can't catch what was. So don't even try to catch what was. Okay?
So once I've made that choice to move it away, then it's like, whatever, next.
Whatever happened. That's okay. That's fine. That's okay. You just keep breathing because it's somewhere or it's connected somewhere, and you're telling it that you can be freely circulated. You're not, and you're doing even more than telling it. You're doing it. You're in it. You're showing that it can be circulated. Now you're bringing up visually a point. You opened your mouth, so this is something for you to play with. Opening the mouth is helpful for cleansing, so to get something out. Closing the mouth and breathing only through the nose is better for building energy and circulating energy within.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You okay?
Yeah.
You know that circle. You can do this. You can do this sitting. Okay.
Okay, that's great.
Right.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. So as soon as you try to catch something that came to your consciousness, or so something came to consciousness that was subconscious, as soon as you try to catch it, you're in the past again.
Okay.
Just let it be. It's fine. So some people will say that it's important to deal with everything that's in your past before you can move on. This is easier. Just be with each moment. Anything that you thought that was a certain way is something that once you bring it back, you're just bringing it back into a situation of today, which is just something you're making up, really. Like if you were in danger, physical danger, a year ago, okay, you were in that situation. And now, if you think about it, it's almost like you're bringing up something that's not even really happening now. So it's like you're analyzing a memory. What's the point?
Yeah.
It's never going to be the same as it was back then. So why even spend time on it?
Well, I'm starting to notice that, and I'm noticing that stories are coming up, and I'm thinking I'm not even sure that's necessarily a true story.
It's true if you make it true.
Yeah.
So there's no point. Now what happens when this is working well is that intuition will give you a spark of wisdom that will move you through it. If it takes any kind of analysis, was it A, was it B, was it C? You're out of your breath, and you're basically out of your mind. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Okay.
All right, so another metaphor you might like is, I'll give you a couple, is this is our roof, okay? And the roof, we need a roof, okay? The breath and being in the body is like making a very, very solid roof so that our energy can circulate down, okay? The breath, if we don't use it and we just get into the wild array of thoughts that could go on here, is like literally like blowing the roof off this sucker, if you know that expression, right? And then we have no protection at all. So we're exposed to all the elements there, and we're losing energy through the roof. The roof is gone, so all of our chi is escaping, and we're also exposed to dust and rocks and anything else that might come in. So the breath in this circle is providing a roof to contain a quiet, quiescent soul. And just by being in the moment, we allow circulation. Okay? And then another one that tags along with that is, if we put salt, the best quality sea salt, into a little cup of water and drink it, it's poison. Okay? But if you take that same handful of salt and put it into a big, 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 big bowl the size of the room, you won't even taste the salt at all. So what the breath helps us to do, as we visualize and as we feel, more than even visualize, this big body of ours, is we're taking any stuff that we have and it's being diluted so that it's not causing any poison, really. But if we only use this little place and we're stuck with all that salt in this little cup, it's toxic.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's why we're breathing through the whole body. And really, the more you do this, you'll feel that your whole body, through your arms and out, is connected to everywhere. And then that salt, that stuff you think you've gone through that's rough, is completely diluted. Completely diluted. It's like almost like we have our own little distiller. It's like we're distilling it. We're keeping some minerals, but it's not to the point that it's toxic at all. It actually energizes us. Right? So you get that metaphor of using the breath as adding water and absorbing any of the stuff that might be otherwise blocking. Okay? So you move it. You let it move to different parts of the body. Okay?
Okay. Just while you were speaking on that, I decided to relax and really relax into the moment, and I could just feel the fear in the background of feeling my emotions in my body. Like there's just so much fear around it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. You just notice that, breathe into it, and maybe that metaphor works for you. You dilute it.
Right.
By taking a big breath, you just dilute it. You can move your body a little bit, feel that it's there, and let it circulate. Let it move all through you and the rest of the universe.
So it would be fear of like that technically would be fear of inspiration. Or
Well,
fear
I
of,
think you're afraid of the depth, maybe,
yeah, I'm
that
afraid
might
of the
open
depth.
up, which is ultimately the unknown. That's
Yeah.
really the only fear, is fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Because we know that whatever you went through in your life and whatever stories you've had that were difficult, you've survived. You're here today. You're okay. It's a nice day outside. You know, life's not so bad. It's fine. So that might be easier than going into the unknown. What happens if I increase my field of awareness? What else might come in?
Yeah.
Right? So that'll take some trust and more practice with being in little moments of challenge and then just breathing through them, feeling all of this in your body, stopping the story through the breath, and feeling. Challenge ourselves to become more comfortable with uncomfortability. Like there's never any problem right now. Never. So if you're just here now, this is fine. You're fine. So
Yeah.
there's only problems of the past projected into the future. That's all. And it's interesting that they relate to parents, and these are the P's, to partners, and all of that in the past.
Right.
And, okay, that's interesting. It's not very complicated. That's all there is to it. And in the present, everything's fine. And people report when they're in near-death situations, when death is imminent. Like I knew this guy he was a truck driver, he was a semi-trailer driver, and he got stuck on the train track, and there was the train coming. There was nowhere he could go, right? So at the initial discovery of it, he was afraid. But at the point that he saw that there's nothing I can do, I will be hit, he had no fear at all. In present moment, there is just complete surrender. He survived. I don't know how. I really have no idea how that's possible that he survived. He lived to tell about it. And maybe for this reason, that this would be shared. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation that's that close. Everybody will report to you that in that moment they just surrender. There's nothing else you can do. You just give up. You just go, hey, here I am.
Right.
So that's what you're doing with the breath. You're just in each moment. We're going, okay, here I am. It's just my back. Yeah, I feel some tension. Feels like this, feels like that. Just breathe. Feel your hands, feel your body. Keep scanning. That's it.
It'll be the fear part that I'm definitely going to be practicing on.
Yeah. And the more you put yourself in little situations of fear that are manageable, the more you'll be able to take on bigger situations.
Right. Well, I think the problem is I take on big situations.
Yeah, that's right.
And I have no middle.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
your dreams, yeah.
Right. Well, there's big growth in that once you get it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's good to prepare yourself in little steps for that.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're learning about how to manage it a little better.
Okay.
This is why people do extreme sports or gambling or things like this, is because this is actually a very natural process for us to go through, for us to know what it's like and to train ourselves to be with fear. And if it's too big for us, then intuition comes in and says, okay, this is too dangerous. And so we stop. We wouldn't use it as an experiment. Okay? So that's up for you to say, okay, is it safe enough for me to do whatever I'm going to choose as a little fear challenge here to feel that in my body? It could be as simple as taking a jump, like jumping from 2 feet onto some grass. Where you go, well, that's no problem. But what if it was 3 feet, and you go, and there's a certain point, like let's say at 4 feet, that you might go, oh, gee, I don't know. And you check in, okay, look, is this safe? Do I know how to land? Right? And you go, and you feel it, okay, it's all right. And then what's important is that you watch your body as you jump. And I would recommend doing it at 2 feet, doing it at 3 feet if this is what you chose to do. But whatever the challenge is, do it in gradual amounts so you go, oh, that was a little weird. I knew I would have been okay, but I felt a little bit of fear in that. And then eventually, if you want to challenge it a little bit more, you go to the next step. And as long as you know that your body's safe, like that it's not going to get you, then it's okay to do this.
Yeah.
Or for example, like to do it in water. That would be a good example. You know how they have different ranges of diving boards?
Right.
Right. So like that would be an example. It's just water down there.
I sometimes do it off-roading.
Okay.
I'll go like off-roading or just all of a sudden drive through the ditch.
Right.
In the country.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
That.
Yeah, so do something that's personal for you. And the important part of it is to not just go through it subconsciously and just get to the other side or whatever it is, but to actually do it somewhat at a speed that will be safe and that you can feel what's going on in your body. Okay? And then the more you're used to feeling where fear shows up and how to breathe through it, then when you're in those times that really count, you'll automatically be, I know how to do this. It'll just become a second nature. You'll go right to your body.
Okay.
All right? Because you'll have trained yourself to be in your body instead of the story.
Maybe what I'll do is from now to at least and practice with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so this is like a living meditation now. Okay? This is learning to do this is constantly, at every moment you can remember, is to feel this breath circle or this full body universe circle. Like when like I'm talking to you right now, it's taking some effort. At the same time while I'm using my words, I'm also looking inside my body. And while you're listening to me, so listen more than with just your ears, breathe with your whole body. So listen with your whole body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And this takes discipline to do.
Yeah, because some of the feelings are a little sketchy especially if they're paired with fear.
Yeah. Okay.
But I get it. Yeah.
You just get it. You watch and you just notice the physical sensations of the body. So you're spending time, instead of spending all this time in here, you're spending more time in the bigger part of your body, in the bigger world, where all the subconscious elements and functions are going on. Right? Our bodies are doing trillions of functions in 5 or 10 minutes that we have no idea of. And those are all under here, like your liver and your stomach. They're connected to the brain, for sure, and the nervous system. But they're constantly functioning. So that's where we're putting our attention. We're putting our intention into that bigger consciousness space that we have called the body. That includes the brain, the head. And that's another point too. It's different when you consider this a head instead of a brain. Okay? It's got walls on it, it's got a back, it's got a front. Okay? And so you let the energy go through your head, but not your brain. Okay? So you can feel all of that as you breathe. You feel it more on the inhale here in the front. Okay, in the face, then you go down, then it circles through your legs, up the back, and then you'll feel it on the sides of the head and through the back of the head. And so now you're breathing through a body, not a brain and a body, but the full body. Okay?
Good. Can I switch over to the senses for a minute?
Sure.
I guess through meditation, I feel like I've somehow been able to separate out a little bit, like with the hearing, and that there's certain feelings associated with hearing and sight, but it's the taste one that I'm really, I guess I feel like as soon as something goes wrong, I'm eating everything.
Yeah.
So I was doing really well with the macrobiotic diet. Everything was going very well. Emotions came up, they weren't dealt with, and then I was eating like crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there, I guess, just keep meditating on that, or?
Just do what we've been doing. So this is what you mean by meditation, what we've been doing, right? Just
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then just feeling the senses, like experiencing listening and what the eyes and the feeling of the eyes.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's great. So ultimately, the senses are our doorway to the psyche and to the soul and to the subconscious and to everything. And so there's good reason why we use them. And the taste of all the other senses is the most passionate. Okay? Hearing, seeing, they're all good stuff, but when it comes to the mouth, we're talking, serious passion. The Taoists consider the ancient Chinese and probably the East Indians see the mouth as being both the male and female sex organs in one place. So there's moisture, there's a cavity, there's a tongue, right? There's all of it's contained. And when the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, we're connecting heaven's force with earth's force. So the tongue starts at the bottom of the body, right? At the base of the mouth, right? In the throat area. And then when we touch the top, the palate, upper palate, then we're connecting what's below with what's above. And so now yin and yang are connected just as if sperm and egg, male and female, conceive in the mouth. So it's no wonder why we have such an addiction and such a relationship with foods and passion. It's the most passionate of all senses. Right? We kiss, right? I mean, we take all these things for granted, but it's an amazing sense into our passionate world, which is inspiration, which is love, which is the opposite of fear.
Okay, well, that's a good way of looking at. I'll meditate on that a little bit.
Yeah, and so use your saliva more and more when you're not eating at other times. So that's another reason for the closed mouth is it'll secrete saliva. And that saliva, because it's connected to heaven's and earth's force, with the tongue on the roof of the mouth, will charge that saliva with a lot of vitality and energy. And then as we swallow that saliva, it's more than just going to our digestive organs and helping digestion, what it does. It also has a charge, an electricity that follows the breath. So saliva and breath are working together. One's a little more material, one's more contracted, the breath is more expanded, but they work together, and you can imagine your saliva or sense your saliva as an elixir that follows the breath in those channels that we went through. I'm really glad you're bringing this up. So imagine that breath is like a straw, literally like a straw, and your saliva is what you're slurping and moving through your body.
So even if I'm stressed and my tongue's clenched on the roof of my mouth, it's still doing that?
Yeah, don't clench. Relax.
Yeah, I know don't clench, but it's not easy.
Yeah, you just put your tongue up there in a relaxed way. You might want to take a few open mouth breaths. Just move your jaw a little bit. Move your tongue a little bit. Okay, and then relax. Put the tongue up there. And let that elixir of life from heaven's and earth's force, like it's the dew of heaven and earth, just like the dew on a tree. And you're circulating it through your whole body internally. Yeah, that's
well,
right.
It really makes one salivate, hey?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so just being aware of that. And so now you're physically manifesting an actual fluid in the meditation. So when you're just looking at breath, it's a little more ethereal, it's just air. But now you're actually materializing substance. You're actually making fluids.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll give more grounding to whatever story that you think might be about to come up. You let it, like a river, right? This is a river. So you let it go down the stream. And let it take that story, let it circulate, use it. And it just becomes energy eventually.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm glad I asked the question.
Yeah. And the same with all the senses. So feel with your whole body, not just your ears. So like as I'm talking with you, so bring that into this breath flow. And then listen to the silence. And pull that in. Yeah, so you can use your eyes on the back of the body. You're doing that, right? Yeah. And then pull it back down with looking down on the front. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot of warmth. Do you feel warmth in your body?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's chi. That's healing energy. So you just let it go. Just, and so you don't want to get hung up on that either, right? You just notice it. You just go, wow, that's pleasant.
One thing I'm frequently hung up on is, like, even when you say breathe it in, for some reason I feel like I'm invading the other person's aura by breathing in that, and like when you said just breathe it in, like I feel like, okay, well now I'm sensing your space. Like it feels like I'm violating your space. All these
okay, that's good. I'm glad you're bringing that up. Perceive it as vibrations. It's not about me. So like, that's a vibration. Okay, and there's vibrations all around us. So you're just taking that vibration and you're letting it move through your body. And it's not staying anywhere. You're not taking it inside you. You're circulating it through the entire universe. It's just vibrations. It's just...
And I'm not stealing, like taking from you.
Yeah, there's
right?
no, not at all. In fact, you're complementing whatever I'm putting out. You're adding to it by circulating it through your body and putting it through the whole universe.
Okay.
And it's time that we understood, as long as it's safe, that it's about connection. So when in any conversation that someone chooses to speak with you and you speak with someone else, as long as it's safe and as long as we're agreeing to be there, we're in connection. We're in energy flow. We're in making energy move, and that's how energy moves on this planet, through relationship. Like the planet, the planet would die. Noah's Ark. We need two of everything, right? There's got to be relationship to make the world go round.
Yeah.
So that's a story that you've got going on.
Yeah.
So delete, cancel, clear.
Thank you. Thank you for deleting that.
Yeah. We're here to make harmony in relationship and connect and see that we all are connected. There really is no difference, and a way to do that is through the breath.
Yeah. Yeah, the more I spend time alone, the more I realize like it is all about what's happening in your environment, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all perception.
Mm-hmm.
So that perception that you just brought up is going to be in your way. So now you can perceive it in a completely different way. I'm in a harmonious relationship with this person that helps the world go round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you feel it with your whole body, and you generate it, you cultivate it, and circulate it, and nothing stays within you. Everything's recycled.
That is a much better way of looking at it.
Yeah.